AI is not taking your job first. It is lowering the value of your work. Do you know the most dangerous thing about artificial intelligence? It is not robots. It is not talking machines. It is not even the idea that one day a computer could do your job faster than you can. The real danger is more subtle. AI may not remove your job right away. It may do something worse. It may keep you employed while making your work less valuable over time. And once that happens on a large scale, this is no longer just a technology story. It becomes a money story, a wage story, an asset story. A story about why some people may become much richer while millions of others keep working and still feel stuck. People talk about AI like it is the start of a better future. A future that is faster, smarter, cheaper, more efficient. And if you own a business, that sounds amazing. Because from a business point of view, AI looks almost perfect. It does not ask for a raise. It does not take vacation. It does not need health insurance. It does not come in late. It does not complain. It does not get tired the way people do. It does not ask for bonuses. It just works. You pay for the system, you connect it to your workflow, and suddenly it starts doing work that used to require several employees. That is why AI is not just another technology trend. It may become one of the most powerful labor-cutting tools businesses have seen in years. But here's the uncomfortable part. What is good for one company is not always good for the economy. Sometimes it is the opposite.
Because for a company, workers are a cost.
As you can see,
but for the economy, workers are customers. The same person on a payroll is also the person paying rent, buying groceries, paying for gas, buying clothes, seeing a doctor, paying school bills, and keeping other businesses alive. So the very thing one company wants to reduce is the same thing the wider economy needs to survive. That is the first big contradiction. And honestly, that is only the beginning. Because companies were already trying to cut labor costs long before AI appeared. If they could outsource work, they did. If they could automate part of a job, they did. If they could make fewer people do more work, they did that too. AI did not create that instinct. It simply made it stronger, faster, and easier to scale. In the past, replacing workers often required big changes, new machines, new systems, new processes, a lot of money, a lot of time. Now it can start with software, a few subscriptions, a few automation tools, a strong model, a better workflow. And suddenly, a team of 5 becomes a team of 3. Then 3 becomes one manager using AI tools. And this is where many people misunderstand the real risk. They think the danger is mass unemployment overnight. That may happen in some places, but the deeper threat is slower than that. You keep the job, but the market starts valuing your labor less. You still wake up early, you still open your laptop, you still answer emails, you still join meetings, you still hit deadlines, you still work full days. But now your employer knows that software can do part of your work for a much lower cost. And once that happens, your position changes. Not because you became less skilled, but because the market found a cheaper option standing right beside you. That means raises get harder, workloads get heavier, teams get smaller. One person starts doing what used to be done by 2. That is the real hit. Not instant replacement, but gradual devaluation.
So what happens to the money when labor gets devalued? It does not disappear. It changes direction. Instead of flowing into wages, it flows into profit. Instead of going to workers, it goes to shareholders. Instead of paying for human time, it rewards ownership. And that helps explain a feeling many people already have. They work hard, sometimes harder than the generation before them. They are more educated, more productive, more skilled with technology, and yet they feel less financially secure. Buying a home feels harder. Saving money feels slower. Taking time off feels riskier. Starting a family feels more expensive.
Look at that necklace. It's
Why?
beautiful.
Because the modern economy rewards
We already
ownership
have
much
something similar
faster
at
than it
home.
rewards labor. If you own assets, efficiency can make you richer. If you own stocks, lower labor costs can help the companies you invest in. If you own the technology, you get paid when other people depend on it. If you own property, rising costs can increase your returns. If you own platforms, data, infrastructure, or distribution, automation can make you even stronger. But if all you own is your time and your effort, then you may be selling the exact thing the system is learning to pay less for. That is the second twist. AI does not need to eliminate every job to reshape inequality. It only needs to make labor weaker while making ownership stronger. And then we reach the biggest question of all. If more companies succeed by needing fewer human workers, who is supposed to buy what those companies are selling? Who goes on vacation? Who upgrades a car? Who replaces a phone? Who eats out? Who signs up for subscriptions? Who buys the house? Who keeps consumer demand alive?
One company can improve profits by cutting staff. 2 companies can do it too. 10 companies can do it too. But if an entire economy does it at once, consumer demand starts to weaken because people with less income spend less, and people who fear losing income spend less too, even before they lose the job. That is what makes this dangerous. Businesses chase efficiency and may end up weakening the very market they need to sell into. Put simply, you cannot build a strong consumer economy by making consumers financially weaker. It sounds obvious, but that is exactly where many systems are drifting, and AI could speed that process up. Now here comes another twist. If that future looks so unstable, why are investors so excited? Why does Wall Street love the AI story?
We'll find something else.
Because from the point of view of capital, this looks incredible. AI promises something investors love: more output, fewer workers, higher margins, stronger future earnings, better growth stories, higher valuations. If a company can produce the same result with fewer people, the savings go somewhere. Some of it becomes profit. Some of it becomes investor confidence. Some of it gets priced into the stock, and financial markets reward that very quickly. That is why AI can make people near assets wealthier while making wage earners feel more pressure. And that is how the social divide can widen. On one side, you have people living more and more from ownership. Ownership of stocks, ownership of companies, ownership of platforms, ownership of real estate, ownership of technology, ownership of systems that keep generating money. On the other side, you have people who still have to trade hours for income, while the value of those hours keeps getting squeezed.
That is when people start talking about rescue ideas, universal payments, basic income, some form of support to keep people afloat. And yes, on paper, that sounds humane. If machines do more work, maybe humans should still receive enough money to live. But look closer. A society where millions of people need basic support just to remain consumers is not a great victory for technology. It is a warning sign. It means labor no longer pays enough to support life on its own. That is not a utopia. That is an emergency dressed up in futuristic language. And the hardest truth is this: none of this really started with AI. AI is not creating this imbalance from nothing. It is accelerating patterns that were already there. For years, wages in many places have grown slowly, while housing costs climbed, asset prices climbed, living costs climbed, and the people who already owned things moved ahead faster. Meanwhile, people without assets kept running harder just to stay in place. AI did not invent that system, but it may intensify it. Because once automation starts affecting not only physical labor, but also office work, creative work, entry-level analysis, customer support, basic writing, basic design, and knowledge work, even white-collar workers stop feeling safe. That is why so many people are uneasy, not because they know they will lose everything tomorrow, but because they no longer feel sure that their work will stay valuable 5 years from now. And once people lose confidence in the future value of their labor, financial behavior changes. They hesitate to buy homes, they delay having children, they avoid long-term commitments, they spend less, they take fewer risks, they hold back.
And then the economy circles back to the same old problem. The more insecure people feel, the less they are willing to spend. The less they spend, the weaker real demand becomes. This is the painful loop at the center of the AI economy. Technology can make the system more efficient, but if the gains are not shared widely enough, the system can also become more fragile. So what is an ordinary person supposed to do? There is no magic answer. But when reality is getting harder to ignore, relying only on wages is becoming more dangerous. You have to think more about what you own. Own skills that are harder to replace. Own relationships that create opportunity. Own a personal brand. Own an audience. Own products. Own a side income. Own assets that can grow over time, even if you start small. Because in a world where technology creates more value with fewer people, the people without ownership risk being left outside that value. And in the end,
That is the real question. Not whether AI can do more work, not whether AI is getting smarter, but this. When AI creates more productivity, more profit, and more value, who gets that value? If the answer is mostly a small group of owners, while everyone else gets pressure, uncertainty, and weaker wages, then AI is not liberating society. It is accelerating an old trend. Money moves away from labor and faster toward assets. So no, the most frightening thing about AI is not that it takes your job overnight. It is that it may expose something we never wanted to face directly. In the modern economy, effort alone is not what gets rewarded most. Ownership is. And if you cannot move closer to ownership in some form, you may end up living in a world that is more efficient than ever, while feeling less secure than ever. That is the real money story of AI.